help us understand the legal questions surrounding this, we have Attorney Domingo Cayosa, former president of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, or IBP. Good to have you with us, Attorney. Good morning.
Good morning, Angela. Magandang umaga sa ating mga kababayan.
Well, there's a lot to unpack, no, in terms of the discussion on the impeachment trial of the vice president. But can the conviction threshold in an impeachment trial be lowered? And do you agree with what the former congressman has said earlier, that this can be tackled in an appropriate time?
Well, of course, eventually it has to be settled. But at this point, it might be premature to run to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to issue an opinion on the matter, because under the existing jurisprudence and the Constitution, the Supreme Court cannot take a proactive role. It has to wait for a case ripe for determination, and so far that hasn't been achieved. Pre-trial pa lang ngayon, they haven't voted, so it might be premature. Most probably also, if you bring it to the Supreme Court now, the Supreme Court will avoid it and wait for things to unfold, because it is also very possible that the Senate by itself, as an impeachment court and as a collegial body, can resolve this much faster than the Supreme Court.
Right, but currently po talaga, as of now, wala po talagang case pa filed at the Supreme Court to question this issue. Ang naalala ko lang po is yung from Senator Alan Peter Cayetano questioning the quorum. And I believe quorum is different from the issue of threshold voting. Tama po?
That is true. There is already jurisprudence on the question of quorum, which is anchored in a very rational, logical, and practical grounds. At ang interpretation ng Supreme Court dyan, dun sa Avellino versus Cuenco and old case, sabi ng Supreme Court, quorum is determined based on those who are actually and effectively available among the senators. So malinaw yun. Now, it is also possible, now of course, if you look at the Constitution as it is, and it's a strict interpretation and reading of the Constitution, nakalagay 2/3 of all members. But there's also basis for those who argue, if you look at the intent and spirit of the Constitution, ang intention kasi dyan ng constitutional framers is, it has to be a qualified majority, not a simple majority. So that's the essence of all of these things. Kaya lamang, ginawa nilang masyadong simplistic of all the members. But if it comes to a point where hindi makakapag-operate ang Senate because so many of its members are indisposed, cannot effectively participate, then there can also be logic. They can also adopt the same logic in the Avellino versus Cuenco, na let's be practical and look at the intent. As long as there is a 2/3 majority, then there can be a conviction, because there's also a rule in statutory construction in interpreting the Constitution and the laws that the courts, including the Supreme Court, should look at harmonize and look at possible ways by which the law becomes effective, hindi yung mawawalan ng saysay. So that can be an argument for those who say you can lower the threshold or the basis for the 2/3 vote in case there are not enough senators who can effectively participate in the impeachment.
Well, Attorney, since yun nga po, wala naman po nagko-question pa sa Supreme Court, can the impeachment court settle this issue before the trial begins? Kumbaga sila na lang po, is it also prudent for them to settle this para po pagdating sa trial, dire-diretso na sila?
Well, that's possible, but it is not necessary. Because if they settle it now, it will preempt many things. Malay natin,
Which
yung
is,
na nakakulong o yung nagtatago biglang makalabas at makapag-participate. So wala tayong problema. O kaya, malay mo, yung boto pala is a lot more than the 2/3. Halos lahat boboto. So they will still get the 2/3 vote. So that will be kind of premature. So baka i-avoid din nila yan. Kasi nga, yung impeachment procedure It is quasi-judicial, quasi-political. So the politics of it depende sa public sentiment and yung political winds, maaring magbago. Na yung mga pro-impeachment ngayon, magiging anti o kaya yung anti-impeachment, makukumbinsi sila sa ebidensya. So mas maganda siguro, ituloy na lang muna nila, maayos na paglilitis.
Right.
Saka nila pagbotohan yan, kung ilan ba talaga ang kinakailangan. And then if anybody questions it, he can run to the Supreme Court.
Yun na nga eh. So what if, yun nga po, in the course of the trial, somebody goes to Supreme Court, ang tanong po dito, of course, ng public, madedelay din ba yung impeachment?
Well, I don't think we should not delay the impeachment. That's the more important thing because they can proceed with the trial. They can hear both sides, di ba? Para ang importante dito, makita at malaman ng buong mamamayan what is really the score, what's the evidence. And then, because the decision of the impeachment courts, the senators, the senator judges will also depend on how the public will perceive things. That's why nga, quasi-political eh. So it should not, regardless of what the vote will be, ang importante yung katotohanan, di ba? And it goes through a process. That should not be delayed by any other reason or any other factor. Let them cross the bridge when they get there.
Get there. Okay. But as a lawyer, attorney, how does the impending arrest of Senator Rodante Marcoleta, the detention of Senator Estrada, and the disappearance of Bato would actually affect the vote, the voting count in the impeachment trial? Because meron po silang sinasabi na justiciable reach na baka maaring mapagbigyan itong dalawa na makukulong, pero yung isa na we don't know where he is ay hindi pwede. Your thoughts on that?
Well, of course you can argue that way because they have different circumstances. But the principle remains the same, rule of law. Yung isa, may valid warrant of arrest issued by an international court na kinikilala ng ating local laws and our international commitments. So, magpakabayani ba siya? Susundot ba siya? And then, he has a pending case before the Supreme Court. Decision na ng Supreme Court yun, one way or the other. Di ba? Hindi pwedeng, dinidribble-dribble kasi ng Supreme Court kung minsan yan, masyadong matagal. Yun namang mga nakatulong, pag plunder ho kasi or anti-graft cases, malinaw sa batas, you can be preventively suspended, but that will only be for 90 days, so limited time. But if you are in jail because you cannot avail of the right to bail because it is life imprisonment, penalty, you are treated like any other criminal. Wala naman yung detention na binibigyan ng tablet o cellphone para mag-conduct ng kanyang business eh. So mahirap din kahit gustuhin man yan ng Sandigan Bayan, mahirap din na ibahin yung treatment ng senador dun sa ordinary criminal because parehong criminal case ito eh, di ba? Wala namang your right to have communication with the outside world and conduct your normal business when you are a detention prisoner for a serious offense. Tinatanggal yan dun sa mga ordinary criminals or suspects or accused. Bakit iba ang senador? So that's true. Rule. That is a more basic rule than the preventive suspension. So medyo mahihirapan. I don't know, maaari siguro pagbigyan ng Sandigan Bayan. It is upon the Sandigan Bayan kasi yung jurisdiction nasa kanila na eh.
Pero one could argue and say, wait, hindi pa naman sila convicted eh.
Well, the same thing with everybody else who's charged with a capital offense. Hindi pa rin sila convicted, preventive detention sila without automatic bail, but they don't even have a cell phone. So what's the difference between a sitting senator and an ordinary congressman or a mayor or even a janitor? Di ba dapat pare-pareho lang? Criminal. Hindi ho naman yan yung usaping politiko.
Tama. Okay. So, attorney, onto the impeachment trial itself, should the private prosecution be allowed to examine the witnesses as well? Because naging isa po yan dun sa manifestation, pero until now, there's no decision on it eh.
Well, it is for the impeachment court to decide. It's a matter of procedure, but fundamentally or theoretically, kung tinatanggap mo yan na private prosecutor, ito dapat pwede siyang to act like a private prosecutor. Hindi naman pwedeng private prosecutor class A, private prosecutor class B, di ba? So maaaring gano'n. But of course, para naman hindi napakarami yung mga magtatanong, pwede namang i-limit. But I think it should not be limiting the person. It should be time limits. Mas maganda yon. Regardless of kung sino magtatanong, private prosecutor man o public prosecutor, one of the congressmen prosecutors, ang importante yung time limit. Kasi ang ina-avoid natin dito, yung tendency ng mga tao to grandstand during the impeachment process. O kaya yung iba naman, depensa, dribble dito para aabutin ng siyam-siyam. The spirit and intent of the Constitution is pag-impeachment, because it's a very important accountability mechanism and the involvement is high government officials and these are serious offenses, dapat mabilisan yan so that may restore ang stability at kung may kasalanan, managot siya kaagad so that the Republic will not suffer from the same kind of leadership. So yun ang spirit. So dapat from both the side of the prosecution and the defense, dapat yung impeachment court, pinipigilan niya yung grandstanding at pagdidribble-dribble.
Right. Okay, so there are 4 articles of impeachment to be discussed during the trial at sinasabi po ni Representative Chua na maaari daw po even just in the first article of impeachment, makasecure sila ng votes for conviction, pwede nang okay na hindi na matakal yung iba. So paano po ba yung ganung proseso, Attorney?
But they should review the existing Senate rules on impeachment from published accounts or reports, no? Ang binago lang nila diyan yung pagpapalit or the flexibility of designating presiding officer. Pero if my recollection serves me right, yung existing and old Senate rules and impeachment na nagamit na sa ibang impeachment, dapat ang procedure diyan is they go from one article to the next and then pagbobotohan nila isa-isa yan. Hindi naman yung after presentation in one, boboto na sila. Unless, of course, the Senado, again, will change that because that's part of their power. They can change it. But, of course, yan, ilalantad kasi it has to be published. Both sides have to know. So, mas maganda nga sana kung meron ng sigurado at may boto na, ba't pa natin aksayahin ang panahon natin dun sa iba? But of course, may halong politiko kasi din yung impeachment trial.
Yeah, that's true.
So yung iba siguro, kahit sigurado na dito, kumbinsido na, gusto pa nilang idiin para sabihin nila na lahat ng ginawa namin ng trabaho namin, lahat ng charges, kaya naming patunayan.
Okay, so the defense po has, repeatedly urged the impeachment court to dismiss the case itself. Pero I was wondering, because as far as I know, ang impeachment court naman po, ang kanilang responsibility or kanilang sole responsibility is to try the case forthwith. So do they have that kind of power to dismiss the case?
But I don't think so. If we base it on the wording and intent of the Constitution, the wording then is trial shall proceed forthwith.
Forthwith, yeah.
Ibig sabihin trial. Ibig sabihin, ang trial, didinggin mo magkabilang panig. Hindi yung motion to dismiss kaagad. Why is that important? Because it's not just a question of evidence and technicalities in the rule. What is more important is the whole public, the whole country will see ano ba yung ebidensya? Ano ba yung depensa mo? Anong mga argumento mo? That's very important when we talk about public accountability. So it has to be a trial. Hindi yung pwedeng dahil may boto na kayo, gaya nung ginawa nung naunang impeachment, binasura na nila, drinibol na nila, binalik sa House of Representatives. That will be a sabotage of the Constitution. That will frustrate the spirit and letter and intent of the Constitution.
Right.
So, hindi ho pwede yan sa ating paningin. Of course, they will try it again. But it is for the body politic, tayo mga mamamayan, di ba gusto natin malaman, totoo ba ito o hindi? Ano bang
Right.
katotohanan? That's more important to my mind than even a guilty verdict or all the technicalities that the smart lawyers from both sides can think of.
Now, Attorney, I also would like to ask you regarding Senator Marcoleta's looming case, ano, itong plunder case sa kanya. And he also repeatedly said na itong campaign donation na ito is not public funds. So, therefore, he cannot be charged plunder. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I suggest they read again the anti-plunder law. Kasi maliwanag ho kasi sa definition ng ano ba yung ill-gotten wealth. Kasi
Right.
plunder law is kung yung ill-gotten wealth mo umabot ng 50 million or above and there's a series of transactions, then that could be considered plunder. Ito, inamin niya kasi na may tinanggap akong donation, tigdi 25 million, 3 different instances, 75 million. Hindi niya yan dineclare sa SALN niya. Hindi niya yan dineclare dun sa statement of contributions and expenses required by COMELEC law of any candidate. So, kumbaga, hindi niya pinaalam, tinago niya yan. And nung nagkabukuan, nung kinasuhan siya sa COMELEC, sabi niya, hindi, natanggap ko yan, pero hindi pa kasi noon election eh. Hindi pa campaign period. Therefore, hindi ko na kinakailangan i-declare. Pero hindi rin naman niya dineclare sa SALN. So, all of these circumstances, galing sa kanya kasi eh. So, ngayon, ang kanyang appeal to the public is, hindi naman yan galing sa kaban ng bayan. Of course, if you're the public, you're not a lawyer and you haven't read the law, baka maniniwala ka. Pero yung pandarambong, yung corruption, kagaya ho nung kaso ni Erap Estrada noon, hindi naman siya nagnakaw daw sa kaban ng bayan. Komisyon ng huweteng yun. Private
Rating yun.
money.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's good
But
point.
he was held accountable. He was convicted for those things. Ganon din si Senator Marcoleta. Kasi nga, kung noong panahon na tinanggap niya yung tig 25 million, congressman siya eh. Public official siya. Pag ikaw public official, bawal yung tumanggap ng mga regalo. An account of your office. Of course, it is presumed it's an account of your office kasi nakaupo kang congressman eh. Wala siyang, sabi niya, regalo lang daw. Hindi ka tanggap-tanggap yun. That is indirect bribery. So
Right.
yun ang kanyang problema. Yung bang
Yeah.
maganda rin, it's good that we explain this para mas maintindihan ng
Right.
ating kababayan.
Ang problem pa dito kasi there's an admission on live television. But I want to ask you also, Attorney, regarding former Secretary Manuel Manny Bonoan, that he is being eyed as a state witness in connection to this flood control cases. And this move has raised legal and ethical questions. So, in your point of view, dapat ba, tama ba na siya ay state witness dito sa usapin ng flood control projects?
Well, may I correct you on that, Angela? Hindi lang flood dito. Ginawa na eh. There's already
Yes.
a motion to discharge him.
Yeah.
So, so an ethical point of view, huwag nating santuhin si Secretary Bonoan. Kasama siya sa nangurakot eh.
Exactly.
That's clear. Diba? So, hindi siya yung santo. Yung kumbaga, naghudas siya doon sa kasama niyang mga magnanakaw, to put it bluntly, di ba? Kasi nga nakasuhan ito eh. At maswerte siya na nakumbinsi o kaya he was willing to tell the whole truth. So, on a legal point of view, if you look at the Witness Protection Program, hindi naman siya disqualified. Kasi ang nakalagay dun sa kwan, pwede kang state witness as long as you're not one of the most guilty.
Least guilty ka.
Oo, hindi, it's not least guilty. You're not one of the most guilty. So,
Yeah.
you can be more guilty than the others. For example, he's more guilty than the COA auditors who turned a blind eye o tumanggap ng konti, hindi na nag-report. So, but it does not mean to say you're the least guilty as long as you're not one of the most guilty. So far, mukhang hindi naman siya.
Pasok
diba?
yun.
But I think it is a very strategic win for the ombudsman or for the government, for the prosecution, to get him as a state witness. Why is that? Kasi itong mga USEC, yung mga district engineer, sasabihin nila, hindi ko alam yan. Hanggang alam ko lang, Bulacan. Yung nakawan all over the country
Right.
For the secretary, he cannot say that na hindi ko alam. Dapat alam niya legally and theoretically and logically lahat ng transaction, the buck stops at the table of the DPWH secretary. So he's competent to testify not only of the corruption in Bulacan, Mindoro, Davao, everything, every district of this country. And he should have the documents and the records to corroborate his statement. So, very strategic siya. Ang importante lang dito, nabantayan natin, ibabalik ba niya yung ninakaw niya? Kailan at magkano
Yun
yan?
nga oo.
Will he tell the whole truth or selective na naman? He cannot wiggle too much away from that too much because dapat alam niya lahat. So hindi niya pwedeng hanggang Bulacan lang ako, hanggang Negros lang ako. He cannot do that. So, at sangkot din siya Pwede rin siyang balikan, i-reinstate yung kaso laban sa kanya at ipapakulong dun siya kung hindi niya sasabihan lahat. So, makita natin yan, bantayan natin, let's be vigilant, let's see what the ombudsman will really do with him. But I think he's legally competent, he's legally not disqualified to be a witness, and I think it's a strategic achievement na pumapayag siya. Ang bantayan na lang natin, pepremyohan ba siya, hindi ba ibabalik yung ninakaw niya o dapat ibabalik din? At the same time, will he tell the whole truth and produce the corroborating documents and records which a secretary should have?
Well, si Senator Lacson naman po has said, dapat daw i-restitute yung at least 1 billion. So, ibig sabihin, kung may ibabalik, ibig sabihin may kinuha, may ninakaw. But attorney, we have a lot of things to talk about, pero unfortunately, we don't have much time. But thank you so much for your insights, Attorney Domingo Cayosa. Good morning.